Today, I'll teach you all how to recreate the beading embellishments done on this gorgeous dress made by Vicky James Official on Instagram. If you'll be interested in learning all about this beading process, please make sure you watch this video all the way through, share with a friend, subscribe to this channel if you're yet to subscribe, and don't hesitate to drop me your questions down in the comment section. Alright guys, let's get straight into today's video. Hello friends, and welcome back to another awesome tutorial from me. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Funmibi Olawore. I am a DIY content creator or a fashion content creator based in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. You can also call me a fashion entrepreneur. I run some businesses aside what I do on here on YouTube. Please feel free to connect with me on my other platforms. I hardly ever talk about them. I'm active on Instagram and TikTok. I also have a Facebook page. My name is the same across all platforms. I am not really active on Facebook, but you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram, I have about 1,800 followers, and on TikTok, I have over 20,000 followers. So that's how you know me. Anyway, you'll see my picture, you'll see activity on my page. So please make sure that you're following the real me. So welcome to another tutorial. In today's video, we're going to be doing a beading tutorial. I believe you guys must have seen the dress that we're trying to recreate, the embellishment. That dress was designed by, let me confirm, yeah, it was designed by Vicky James. I believe I must have linked everything you need to know about that dress. If you're not following any of these creators that I typically come on here to tell you guys about, please feel free to go follow them on their platforms and basically see what I'm also seeing. To recreate that particular beading pattern, you need some accessories. So I'm going to first of all show you these stones. Some people call these stones. I typically call these rose montes on here on the channel, but if you walk into your local markets, chances are they'll call these stones. So please go with whatever your local market vendor is telling you. So this is what we'll be working with. I'll also be working with some broken glass beads. This is what the broken glass beads look like. And then I'll also be working with some sequins. Because the goal of this video is to recreate what I showed you guys at the intro of this video, that's why we are working with just these three forms of embellishment. However, the choice of beads and stones and sequins that you're using is absolutely yours. I have a whole playlist called Beading Tutorial where I talk extensively about how to make the right choices when it comes to embellishment for your outfit. So feel free to go binge those videos. So without doing any more talking, I have this little piece of fabric where I'll be doing the illustration for this tutorial. This fabric is called felt. You don't absolutely need to use this fabric. I like to use this fabric because I teach beading on YouTube, and this will make my work easier for me. But if you absolutely want to buy it, walk into your fabric seller's shop and ask them for felt. You can take a screenshot. This is what it looks like. All right, so as you can see from the video that I showed us at the intro, I'll also try to leave a side note on the screen. We can see that that particular dress is typically a lace outfit. However, on the top half of the outfit, which is from like the bust point to the waist area, we have some beading patterns done there. And with that type of beading pattern, if you're trying to recreate it, I suggest you first of all outline your fabric. Basically draw the lines that you're trying to bead on your fabric. This is my fabric right here, okay, and I have my fabric pencil. This pencil, I just like to use it. There's no reason why you absolutely have to use it. You can also use your regular tailor's chalk. So I'm just going to go ahead now and outline the thing or the lines I want to bead on. So let me just say something like this. With this particular dress, we can see that there's no particular order to it, yeah. And then you have something like this also going on downwards this way. So let me move up a little bit. Oh, I hope we all can see what I'm doing. So something like this. And then you have some curved ones as well, like this. Let me just drag this down a little more, just so they kind of connect with each other. So can we see the sample of what I have here? You can do this all over the outfits that you're trying to recreate. Because this is just a tutorial and I don't want the video to be too long, just do this depending on the quantity of fabric that you have. Mark out your outlines, then you grab your needle and thread to start beading. For the thread, you can use your regular polyester thread. This polyester thread is another thing that's causing confusion on this channel. When I say polyester thread, I mean your regular thread that you use for sewing, okay? When it comes to beading, I don't use any special thread. I believe I've talked about the threads that I typically use. I either use invisible thread, polyester thread, fishing line, and that's it, okay? So this is polyester thread, or you use fishing line. This is what my fishing line looks like. I've already threaded this needle, okay? And the beading needle of choice for today's video is the size 12 beading needle. Like I said in one of my previous videos, I've been finding it difficult to find the size 11 one, so I had to just settle for the size 12. And this is what the row or the rim of the fishing line looks like. I'm using the size 0.25 millimeters fishing line. I have a video where I talk extensively about fishing lines and how to choose the right size. I'm not going to bore us with that whole talk in today's video. So now that I've done all this outline on this fabric, I'm going to start beading, and I'm going to start from this extreme end right here. When it comes to the beading, what I'm doing here is a combination of things that I've probably done on the channel previously, so I'm not going to be doing too much talking. Please look at what I'm doing and replicate on your fabric. However, for this first line, for each design, so there are 3 different beading patterns I'm going to be incorporating into this style, so I'm going to talk you through them. Then when I'm doing the remaining, I might do it off camera, or I'll just give you guys a sped up montage. So for this first one, like I said, this is my beading needle and my fishing line. For those that are new here again, beading needle is different from your regular needle, your hand needle that you use for your sewing. Beading needle is specifically for beading. So please walk into your sewing accessories shop. Let me show you what a beading needle typically looks like, just so you get the gist. So this is what a beading needle typically looks like. My light is doing a lot, so let me move it closer for you guys. So this is my beading needle right here. Take a screenshot if you are new to beading. This is what your beading needle should be, and it comes in different sizes. So you see here, this is size 12. You have from size 9 to about size 12. So walk into your sewing accessory shop. I suggest you watch the video on beading needle and fishing line, just so it helps you make the right decision when buying. All right, now that I've said all of that, it's time to start. So I'm going to start off from this point right here. Okay, in a previous video, I also shared with us illustration of how you can bead if you don't want your beading to show on your lining. I'm not going to be doing all that talking in today's video, okay? So if you've not seen that tutorial that I'm talking about, please go check it out. It will be very useful to you. So I've passed my needle and thread now. Next thing, I'm going to grab my broken glass bead and pick up about 4, and then tilt my fabric this way and then pass it through like so. Can you see what I just did there? Pick 4 again. When it comes to beading, if you want uniformity, you need to make sure that you're counting and sticking to one number. I started with 4 broken glass beads here. I'm going to maintain using 4 till I get to the end of this line. If I do 4, then do 5, then do 6, then go back to 4, it will not be uniform, and chances are my work will not be neat. So that's a tip right there for us. I hope we saw how I did these 5 points here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue doing everything I did here. I'll do it all the way to the end of this line. Then we'll move to this second line. All right, guys, this is what I did here. Can we see on this straight line? I repeated this same pattern all the way down, and this is what we have here. So imagine if you are doing this on a dress, you just have to draw out your pattern and then follow that line and keep beading on it. This is what we have here. I hope we all understood. If you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section, but please ensure that you've watched the video all the way through and you've practiced. And then if you have any feedback for me, please feel free to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and knot up my stitch right here real quick, and then we'll move on to the second line on this particular fabric. An important tip for us is to always make sure that we knot up our stitch every single time we go ahead to bead. Don't just bead and then cut your thread. Ensure that you knot it up first before cutting off the excess thread. Now that I'm done knotting up my stitch and I'm done finishing it off here, to move on to this second line, for this portion here, we'll be working with just sequins. Like I believe I told us in a different video that designers, especially people like Vicky James and the other big designers that we have out there, they use a different type of sequence from this type of sequence that I have here. This sequence is your regular schmegular sequence. However, with these designers, they use a slightly smaller type of sequence. I'm trying to show us a sample of what the sequence that they use looks like. So this type of tiny sequence that we see on our popular lace fabrics, okay, this is the type of sequence they use. However, I've not been able to source for this out here in Port Harcourt, so I usually just stick to using this regular schmegular type of sequence. This sequence, one thing I love about sequence and adding sequence to designs is it will make your work sparkle. Like sequence give a different vibe to your design, so it's something you should totally incorporate into your designs if you don't already do it. So now I'm just going to start off with this beading pattern on this second line that we have here. As usual, I'll start off by passing my needle from the inner part of my fabric, and then I'll be picking just one single sequin as I go along. Okay, I passed it the wrong way. Voila. And then once I'm done, I'll pass my needle into my fabric. I'll come back out again, just right underneath where I passed my needle into, making sure that I'm still staying on the outline that I've drawn for myself. Bring out my needle, pick up another sequin again, pass it through my fabric, or pass it through my needle now, not my fabric. Voila. And then stick my needle into my fabric again. Alright guys, so these are the 4 that I've done so far. One of the beauty of using threads like your invisible thread and your fishing line is that you won't see them appearing on your fabric. You see now that just showing you guys this work like this, with this sequence you can hardly see the fishing line that I used in sewing. For someone to see it, they need to come very close, and even with coming very close, it's almost not there. So that's one of the beauty of using invisible thread or fishing line when it comes to beading. Now that I've said all of that, I'm going to repeat this process all the way till I get to the end of this line, and then I'll come back to show us what we have. Okay friends, so this is the finished result of this particular line using just sequins. Now moving to the third line. This time we'll be working with a combination of these two. I decided to incorporate some seed beads as well in gold, as well as these gold pieces of broken glass bead. Just in case you guys are hearing any noise, I'm so sorry. There's construction going on in my apartment building, so please apologies for that, but I believe my microphone is cancelling that noise. All right, so I'm just going to pick up about 2 of these 2 broken glass beads, just as we can see on the screen right here. Put it into my fabric and then pick up one single seed bead like so, and then pass this into my fabric very lightly. I'm using this method for the people that always talk about, oh, what if I don't want my beading to show on the lining? So I hope this helps. But if you don't mind it showing into the lining, you can just stick your needle into your fabric and then come back out. All right, so I'm just going to keep doing that. 2 broken glass bead, 1 seed bead, and then maintain a straight line. All right, beading, like I always say, requires a huge dose of patience. Okay, if you're not a patient person, you won't be able to bead. So I would suggest that if you are the business owner and you don't have the patience for beading, just outsource it to a professional beader that will take their time and create something beautiful for you and your brand or your business. So I'm going to keep quiet now, keep doing that. 2 broken glass beads, 1 seed bead, and then just slightly through my fabric like so. You're just picking. If this was a dress, I'm just picking through the main fabric, not the lining. I'll just pass my needle in such a way that it's just picking through the main fabric and not my lining. I illustrated this in a recent video. I'll try my best. Hopefully that video is on the channel. I'll link it on the screen for you, just so you can go there, watch that video, and also practice if you're struggling with this type of work. Okay friends, so this is the progress that we've made so far. Remember, just a quick little recap, we did this particular beading pattern right here, then we did some sequins here, then we did the straight beading pattern here. I repeated this beading pattern here over here as well, and I did it here as well. But when I got to this point right here, I did some straight beading using my rose montes on these two lines right here, as you can see. And over here on this last line right here, I did the beading pattern that we did here. Now I'm at this point right here, still doing that same beading pattern. This is our, some people call it leaf beading, some people call it overlapping. Honestly, you get the gist, this particular style of beading. So with this particular type of work, you can just incorporate different things. That's the idea that I'm trying to create for us in this video. Incorporate different beading patterns, mix them together. That's what will give you something amazing. I mean, look at what we have here right now. And then I'm also going to put a sidebar over here of the dress that we are trying to replicate the beading pattern done on it. It's a combination of different crystals, different gems, accessories that gives you something beautiful, and patience, of course. See how neat this all looks. I'm yet to do these three right here, but imagine if I did this all over a dress. It looks stunning, right? Even a skirt, a top, a t-shirt, anything you want to bead. That's the beauty of beading. You can incorporate it into anything and create something beautiful. Anyway, please try your best to practice and then do something nice. Feel free to also send me videos on Instagram via DM. Send me your work. I like to connect with you guys over there. But the main reason why I came back on screen to show us is I want to show us how I did this right here, because I know somebody might be wondering, oh Funbi, you didn't show us how you did this here. I'll just show you right now, even though I have a separate video where I talk about how to tack stuff like this onto fabric. Now you're just going to pick one single piece of this stone, pass it through your needle and your thread or fishing line, whatever it is that you're using, and then stick your needle into your fabric. If you don't want to stick your needle into your fabric, you know what to do. Just pinch the fabric lightly with your needle and come out in front. And then come back up again, right here. Pick one single piece of your stone, and then always make sure you're following the outlines that you've drawn for yourself. Can you see what I've done here? I've done two. So I'm just going to keep doing that till I get to the end of this line. So this is it, guys. I'm at the end of this line. This is what it all looks like. I'm going to go ahead now and bead these two lines and then show us what we have. All right, guys, so we are done. Focus, please. This is the end result of this particular beading pattern. So everything that was done here, you can incorporate it into your next outfit. Okay, practice, practice, practice. Okay, it's very important that you go ahead and practice all of these things, all the beading patterns that we've done here. Get your stuff together and then get to work, start practicing. And like I said earlier, this choice of bead is just what I decided to do, because this was what was used on the actual dress. You can switch up things here. Instead of this one here, you can use crystal beads in maybe size 4, create this straight beading pattern here. Or instead of this one, actually you can use sand beads. Okay, and then instead of these sequins here, you can use a different type of sequins. Over here you can use crystal beads, create a straight line. Like the options are limitless. Okay, feel free to practice, practice, practice. I hope you all found this tutorial very useful. If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. It helps me know that you guys got value from watching. Also, if you know someone that will need this type of tutorial, feel free to share with them. If you have questions, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for always stopping by and checking out my videos. I appreciate you all. And yeah, friends, I can't wait to see you in another video very, very soon. Bye.